Today is another whiteboard question answer. So hopefully there are some nuggets you can take from here if you have a question about anything related to your real estate. I'll list them down here if you already know all the answer to. If there is question that could answer what you have currently, please stay tuned or skip to that questions. Number one, do I have to use a realtor to sell my house? Number two, what taxes do I have to pay when selling my house? Number three, what costs are involved with selling my house to an investor or the traditional way? Number four, what will an investor do with my house after buying it? Number five, why selling to an investor over a real estate agent? Number six, what is the selling process from start to finish? Number seven, pro and con to work with an investor. So number one, do I have to use a realtor to sell your house? The quick answer is no, you don't have to. Real estate agent responsibility is to list your house, and the selling agent is to sell your house to a buyer. So listing agent and selling agents. Selling agent is working for the buyer. So after they list the house, the buyer will come in, look at the house if they like it, and the agent responsibility is to write up an offer. And if both of you agree on the price and term, now you become mutually agree, and then now that agreement will be sent to a title company to process that closing paperwork. So similarly with a direct cash buyer option, if you are selling your house to a local company that buy houses for cash, they will bring in a agreement that talk about price and term, whatever that might be that you agree upon, and that they're willing to pay, you are willing to sell, and then that paperwork will be sent to a title company, and then they will do the same thing, run through the title report. I do talk about what is the closing process look like on another video, so make sure you check that out. Number two, what taxes do I pay when I sell my house? That is a great question. You should talk to your accountant or CPA, someone that prepare your tax. If you don't have one, we have one that we use all the time, and happy to connect you. We don't make any money, by the way, by just referring you to him. What taxes do I have to pay when I sell my house? It depends on your income bracket. So a typical sell will be excise tax when you sell, and some other documentation recorded, minor fee, $10 taxes and stuff. But excise tax will be the biggest one during the sale, and then you will have to do a income tax return. So that is part of the income. You will be subject to a capital gain if it is your investment property, if it is over a certain threshold. Number three, what costs are involved with selling my house to an investor? I actually splitting it down, what costs are involved with selling my house to traditional and also an investor version. So with traditional, you are paying commission. That is seller commission and buyer commission. So it's up to how much you negotiate or how much you got the agreement with your agent, and then how much you are willing to pay for the buyer agent, which is the selling agent. We recommend 2.5% to 3%. Imagine, you have several houses that the agent saw on the market. If house A offered 1% or 2% for them, and then house B offered 3%, if I have a choice, I'll say, hey, look at this first. I will guide the buyer to that house first. So that is the reason why you don't want to lower this commission with your seller commission. It depends on your service agreement. If it is a full listing service, it typically costs 3%. If you or go with 1%, sometimes you're not getting what you expected, or you don't even know what you are getting with that 1% listing. So we recommend a full listing service because you will get the bang for your buck. And also check out 7 steps to sell your house for the top dollar for your house. Get the full listing service and also do the staging. That's going to give you the big bang for your buck. We do have agent that we negotiated for you, so no brainer if you are looking for an agent. Everyone should not selling their house to a cash buyer because it does reduce their takeaway money, losing their equity in the house. But if you are looking for an agent, someone that you can rely on, someone that you can trust, and having high credibility, we have one and offering full service as well at a discount. That's what we are negotiated for you. Just something that we want to give you as a gift. So that is the commission, and then there would be closing costs. Typically, you pay half, and the buyer will pay half. And then excise tax is a seller responsibility. If the house is under a certain value, you are paying 1.6%. The higher the purchase price, the higher the excise tax percentage. Rehab cost, GC, general contractor, and rehab costs, either that material or whatever it is to get the property to where it needs to be in order to be presented by your agents. So that are the major thing. Something that people never thought about is holding costs, property tax, insurance, utility, mortgage. So those are the costs to sell your house as well. So holding costs. Go to the investor side. With the investor, you are not paying closing costs. You are not paying commission. You are not paying holding costs. You are not paying this cost, which is a big deal, right? A lot of people stuck with this. That's why they are going with the investor route. And excise tax, typically we can cover that for you, and it's not magic. Someone need to pay that. Either it is from us or from you, but what we've been doing is we include that. We will ask you what is the amount that you'd be okay with walking away, selling your house to us. So for example, if you are looking to, walk away with 20,000, with 50,000, with 100,000, we make the math simple. We will make sure, if we can hit that 20, 50, or 100,000 walk away in your pocket. Otherwise, we'll tell you upfront, hey, here's what we can do. We cannot do this, but we can do this. Can we move forward? And then now we take care of all of this. We pay for all the closing costs as well. This is a big deal. Not sure how much you're paying. If we are able to close ASAP, you don't have to do all that holding costs, how much that means to you. So that is the benefit of working with an investor. Some company, I hear that they are doing a fee to sell. They make it sounds like they can offer you more, but then you have a flat fee that you are paying per transaction. So now you know the different costs between selling your house to an investor or through a real estate agent. What will an investor do with my house after buying it? I'm not sure why that matters. At Angel Home Solution, we have 3 strategy. We can buy the property, and then we do HDTV rehab, meaning we replace everything: siding, roofing, mechanical, floor, paint, door, molding, frame, window, mechanical. We talk about that, electrical and stuff. So bathroom, master, tiles, granite countertop, kitchen, appliances. So I'm pretty sure you've seen one of those. So we do that, and then we list to the end buyer, a couple and kid that look to buy houses. So that's one exit strategy. Number two, which is a really common, and we love to go that route more often now, is we do a 50% rehab if the house need immediately certain thing like new roof, new siding, mechanical, or drywall, flooring, painting. And then if we can do the minimal and place the tenant in there. So that is the tenant landlord option. Number three is, somehow the property doesn't work for us, or we run out of cash. We don't want to spread too thin. The guy is rehabbing too many projects. We will get a partner in, and then we'll let him rehab the property, and then we split the profit. So sometimes we take on the title, sometimes he take on the title, sometimes we put in an LLC, a different LLC for accounting purposes. Sometimes we work with private investor, and we give them a really good return on their money, comparing to their CD or bank, right? Essentially, for example, if you have 100,000 in your bank, not sure how much you get every month from your bank, probably $10 a year. I never get anything, from my saving account. That was interesting, like a couple cents. If you are looking to invest, looking to get that money work for you, that's how we do. We do a private money lender, and then they give us the money, and then in return, we are putting their name onto the title to ensure they are protected. So if anything happen, it is their house. Whatever money we put in the house, whatever equity we have in the house is there at that point. So if you have some extra cash that you just put in the bank, either in a CD, and you hope for that money to grow for you, probably a wrong way. It probably depreciate more than you would think. For example, if that 100,000 can buy 10 laptop now, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, that probably can buy 2 laptop. So the value of that money decrease of the inflation. Right now we are in this coronavirus thing, and government have been pumping money for the stimulus package, that $2 trillion and some more to come. Where do you think that money come from? So if you have money to invest, real estate probably the safest and something that you can hold and touch, right? It's not paper like stock. Let us know. We don't have opportunity all the time. We are very picky to work with private investor, to make sure they are protected, to make sure those money is not a big risk to them, right? And they just make the return at the end, either when we sell the house and whatnot. And like I said, we're happy to put the name onto the title. So number 5, why sell to an investor over a realtor? So selling to an investor versus selling to agents. Why sell to investor? Time. This is win. Investor can close on your timeline. Agent? No. Cost to sell? Agent? Yes. There are agent commissions. There are closing costs. The costs that we just covered earlier, what are the costs involved with selling your house to an investor and agent? You see all of that. So cost to sell, including holding costs too. Time, cost, and rehab. Agent? Yes. You don't have to do rehab with real estate investor. That's probably the biggest factor in terms of whether you should work with real estate investor or agent. If you have time, you should work with agents. If you have that money, you should work with agents. If you can do the rehab and have the money to do rehab, you should work with agents and get your equity. I think we can combine number 7 here too. So pro and con to work with an investor. Pro and con to work with an investor. The pro is you save time, you can close on your timeline. You don't have any cost to sell. You don't have to do any rehab. Price. You know exactly what price you are getting and when you will get it. With agents, they estimate the price. They're not paying you that. They are estimating that the market will pay you that. But the only thing that you know is when you close or when you get the offer. That could be, after you put in 100,000 into the house to rehab, and it could be, 10 grand, right? If you are doing all the work yourself and you buy material, you put in the labor and take a long time to finish the project, and you buy material, used material from Goodwill and maybe Rehabitat, that they have recycled material and whatnot, and maybe you have a deal with hardware store, you can do it really cheaply. After you put in all that money here, and not sure what happened if the house doesn't get sold to the price that you were hoping for, will you be in trouble at that point? I don't know. It's your call. You have to answer that. But with investor, you know exactly what you are getting when it is closed based on the agreement that you have. With agent, you are agree to list at a certain price, not agree to sell, not agree to get that money. But you can get escalation and you get higher offer than what you list to. Equity. What I mean by equity is whatever you can sell for and whatever you owe. That is the equity. With investor, they will need some profit in order to do the business. They have to pay the private investor, they have to pay contractor, they have to pay agent, rehab, whatever the cost that you were not doing, you're not having, that's now the investor responsibility. That's their risk now. They assume that. They assume that liability. Now your equity not gonna be the same as you were to sell with an agent. In order to make money, you have to spend money, right? It's part of the puzzle. That's what we do as an investor. So if you want to be an investor, great. It's a good way to save some money and put more money into your pocket. The last question, since we covered the number 7 already, pro and con to working with an investor. Number 6, what is the selling process from start to finish? We will do it this way: traditional versus investor. So traditional versus investor. So in the traditional way, one, you have to know what to rehab. So first of all, you have to rehab. That could be a lipstick, could be a new coat of paint, right? It will go a long way if your house is already in great shape. Clean up, rehab, clean up. So first impression is a real deal. Your front yard, backyard, and some of the room that was a storage room, make sure you clear all that and make sure it look open, right? The space have to be inviting. And then remove all your belongings. Sometimes you have to get an inspector. Most people doing pre-inspection so that they know what to fix, and then they can tackle with this, at the same time. It's cheaper to get contractor to work on the projects at once, just have the list. And then just knock it off. And sometimes, you fix something and you find out there is moisture, there is mold behind the wall. Now you have to tear back that drywall and fix all of that. And then, put it all back in. So it's a lot of reworking, right? Rework costs money. Change order costs a lot of money. We have a free scope of work spec sheet that you are free to download on our website. Go to Angel Home Solution /resource and scroll down. There are a ton of resources, and one of them is rehab scope, rehab specification. So it covers pretty much everything in the house, and just pick whatever applicable to you. Get that alignment up front. It's gonna save you 10, 20, 50,000, if not more. And then one quick tip is, if contractor doesn't know what it is, run away from him. So after you do an inspection, after you do the rehab, now it is time for staging, photo, right? And then listing. So during this time, you probably have to work with your agents to see what the price point, how much you are rehabbing, what is the reasonable scope of work, right? Sometimes if the house is at 200,000 price range, you don't want to put granite cord and stuff, fancy countertop and fancy, cabinet. You are okay with just the standard, maybe it is a formica or tiles, whatever it is. So, and then after that, you have to determine the price. So you have to determine a fair price that would sell your house quickly. If you list too high, you're probably not going to sell in a timely manner. If you list too low, I think that's fine too. You get escalations. On this note, if you are considering working with an agent, make sure you make them putting skin on the game. Sometimes it's easier said than done. That is super true. An agent could tell you he can sell your house for $1 million. Your reality is 700,000, and the back pocket is to reduce the price until someone give you offer. Is that hurting? Yeah, probably. Do you have a choice? Probably not. So putting their skin on the game by, if it doesn't sell at $1 million, are you willing to reduce your commissions? Yep, it's not working for free, but you're not earning 3%, 2% either, right? And then buyer will walk through your house with their kid, with their wife. If they like it, they will put offer. Sometimes it's low, sometimes, ask price. Sometimes if there are a lot of buyer in the area that love your house, if you are rehab it perfectly and it shine, you probably draw more buyer and draw more offer. That way, if your agent know how to draw the escalation, draw the attention, make the situation hot, you might get escalation offer. Either that mean 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand on top of your list price. The bonus for you, right? So if you want an agent that know what he's doing, good at negotiating, good at getting you the most money for your pocket, we have one. So after you get the offer, you are now go negotiate back and forth with buyer. Price and term, sometimes they want this, they want that. You cannot give this, you cannot give that. Your term is this, their term is that. When you get the agreement, mutually accepted, then you proceed to the next phase. If for some reason, you end up cancel, now you are looking for a different buyer. Now we are going to agreement. When you agree on the price, it's now going to two routes. Title that we talked about earlier. So they're gonna do the paperwork to make sure everything can be the house can be bought and can be sold. The buyer will be doing their due diligence. Buyer process. So buyer process involves an approval process, which is the appraisal. And then buyer will do inspection, right? And then some buyer will do more research. School, they will do a lot more research on the crime area, walk distance. They will drive around looking at neighbor, HOA. They will probably ask you about utility bills to see, how much is that house consumed in terms of energy. They probably learned a lesson from different houses that some house has a really bad efficiency and costs a lot of money. Maybe there are leak and they want to detect that up front and ask you to fix that. That's probably part of the inspection as well. They're going to check all the mechanical, water, leaking and stuff, and electrical, any energy source, any rodent in a crawl space, any vapor barrier need to be replaced, roof leaking and whatnot. So whole 9 yards on the inspections. And then for the appraisal, they probably ask you to do more stuff that the inspector did not call out. So those have sometimes really similar criteria, but it can be different. We just have one that call out for a water heater trap. The appraiser will come out to the property and do that inspection as well, and then they will determine the value of the house. This is critical. So if they say the house, for example, if you agree on the offer for let's say 300,000, if he say the value is only 280, that's what the bank is willing to loan to the buyer. There are two choices: buyer get more money or cancel the deal. Actually, there are three choices: get more money from the buyer, you reduce the listing price to 200,000, 280,000. Or the number three, cancel the contract and find a different buyer who is willing to pay you 300,000 when it is appraised at a lower price. Or you both can come to a middle ground, a win-win situations. So that is the typical route. And then in the inspection as well, similar situation. You have all this list that need to be done, and you do it. Who pay for that? Do you want to move forward or you cancel? So similar to the appraisal. So those are the two deal killer doing a traditional selling process. And sometimes you see the house back to active from pending. That's what happened, and many more. We saw people cancel the contract because of the HOA. Sometimes there is a common area that they're paying, like an extra lot that they are paying tax on, but it is used by the neighbor. Sometimes people don't want to do that. That is a typical process. At this point, if everything goes smooth, now you are going to closing. So make sure you check another video that I talk about what happened during the closing. It's all the same. You get that title search, you got the lien clear, you got the payoff amount, escrow, doing the accountant book balance sheet, and you know what you're getting as a seller. Buyer know how much to bring in as the buyer to cover all the costs. Then it proceeds to closing. The closing document signed and recorded. Then the transaction considered closed. So now let's go to investor. And if you like this so far, you don't want to stick around, you don't have to. Just in case, for the investor side, I'll make it simple. For the investor side, there's no rehab, like we already talked about. There's no inspection that you have to worry about this. So on the other note too, sometimes you do this, then inspector will cover a different thing than this inspector. So it could come up again on a different item, but you are probably 80-90% safe that it's going to be everything will be covered, and then it's already taken care. But with investor route, you don't have to do this. No staging, no photo, no cleanup. Sometimes we help seller by not having them to move all the stuff, right? Everything in the house can be stay. They need to take only whatever they need to take, and everything else left in the house would take care of that. It's part of the package. So you don't have to do this. You don't have to do any listing. Whatever price that you are okay walking away, if we can do that, if we can give you that, we'll give you that. And then we are fast paced to this agreement. When we agree on a price, we'll go with this. You don't have to worry about this. This essentially, boom. That's how the process is designed to be. This, know that, then we'll proceed into this. So that's simple. As far as our due diligence, we do research on the market. We do research on how much houses selling for. We do the verification on the property to make sure everything we talk about is exact. The side of the wall is not missing. No surprises for us. We do discuss with our contractor on the budget. And then if for some reason there are surprises, we'll let you know ASAP, like within a couple of days or a week. And you don't have to worry about this while you do. If we are off, it's my fault. It's my team fault. If we think the property was 300 and it happened to be 280, it's my fault. You don't have to worry about that. We're not going to go after you. And after we determine all of that, after we check our due diligence, we're ready to close, and we'll wire the fund over to the escrow, and we'll close in on the timeline. That is that simple. If you have any other question, feel free to send me an email, and I'll happy to do another whiteboard and cover all of that. Thank you.